of the questions that we get a lot in the greenhouses and online, can I reuse soil year to year? A lot of people are getting ready or they're already in the process of planting or outdoor plants. Can you go through and reuse that soil that you already have in the containers? So that's what we want to address.
And that is something that a lot of people, they get hung up on, because good quality soil sometimes will cost you more than the cheap bag of fluff.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's such a big pot. So if you're buying stuff in like a 4-inch or a 6-inch pot, you obviously need to transplant them out of this, and you're gonna put them into a container. So once you're done for the season, what do you do with this container?
Yeah, setting it aside, and now it's springtime and you go into your garden shed or the garage or whatever, and you're dragging out all those pots. Yeah, and can we reuse that volume of soil? So if we start with this, let's say this is a 12-inch pot, are we going to reuse this?
Probably not, because your plant should have rooted into all that soil, and that's probably going to be solid roots in
Yeah,
there.
it's going to probably be all the way through on something like this. So now if it wasn't, you have to get your hands into it and kind of see for yourself, and see what you're up against. Now, if it's not bad, I'm gonna say go ahead. Yeah, if it's not just absolutely a mass of roots, could you reuse this? Sure, but you're gonna have to get your hands in there and start digging and see what you're up against. So Amy had said, probably not, but let's go through and look at it first. And
They should have rooted all the way to the bottom.
yeah, if not,
And that's a 12-inch container. So that, that many plants, it should be all full of roots.
yeah, which will break down. If you can break it up, go ahead and reuse it. But I still like adding some fresh soil. As we jump into the bigger containers, then we're gonna say, yeah, absolutely, go ahead and reuse that soil. So there's a big
difference in that.
Yeah, so
That's a big difference.
So we jump up to this pretty good size here.
This is a 16-inch.
I might say, yeah,
tall.
yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and reuse your soil, because there's a lot of volume in here. Not a full-on bag, but there's quite a bit of volume.
Should they add anything at the bottom? Because once you go from like this size to something even bigger,
Yes.
like this,
Yeah.
I think I could fit in there. I don't think I could fit in there. Never mind.
So a container like this
This is a 22-inch.
this is big. Yeah, I mean,
Look at the difference.
this is a lot of soil if you want. So
You're like, oh, this is a big container, and then you get to this, and you're like, this is just a baby.
yeah. So we're gonna top dress a container like this and dig down and see what if we can break everything up. But yeah, go ahead and reuse the soil in these great big containers. But we're gonna add maybe 3 or 4 inches of soil to the top of this, of fresh soil. And even with the smaller, I'm gonna say if you do reuse something like this, always add some fresh soil to it. I think it just helps. Now, another question that we get, something like this, or this even. Can I add something to the bottom, not for drainage? All these have drainage holes on them, and
Right.
do make sure that you have some, at least like a 1/2 inch or so drainage holes, for sure, before you start planting, or that they're not clogged up. But can you add something to take up some volume so you don't have to fill it up all the way? A container like this? No, absolutely not. And we always go back to soil volume counts. I'm not gonna take a smaller container like this and try to put something in there that takes up that much space. I want lots of soil. More soil makes it easier on you for care. That soil volume helps give you that buffer time for when it gets into the hot summer months, that you're not watering 2-3 times a day. Something like this.
We talk about that in hanging baskets. The
Yeah.
smaller the basket, the more the work.
Yeah, those small hanging baskets, they're a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Okay, so we go to a 16-inch container, a tall 16-inch like this. Can we put something in the bottom, like an old milk jug that's clean? let's make sure we're clear on that. Something there, or a piece of styrofoam or something like that.
Stones, or
Okay.
I mean, people have put pieces of wood in the bottom.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I personally would not.
Not on this size.
Yeah, this, like, most people will probably say, oh, that's a pretty big container. Yes, it is. I'm still going to fill this all the way. because again, soil volume counts. I know that this is going to give me that soil volume that I'm going to have that moisture that when these grow big and nice, that it's going to have that moisture that the plants can draw from.
But when you get to this size,
Yeah, go ahead and put something in there. That's a big beast.
look at that. That is a 20. That's a 22 inch.
That's
And
pretty
that
big.
is-
That's almost kind of like your, people talk about the whiskey barrel size. So that's pretty good size. Could I put something in the bottom and fill up, a third or halfway? Yeah, absolutely.
We did in our outdoor planters, and they're filled up, but we did put styrofoam down at the bottom because one of the workers had some extra styrofoam.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with that: styrofoam floats.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it eventually, with the moisture and everything, came up, and we ended up with only this much soil on the top, and then we were hitting styrofoam.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
It kept rising
It worked
up.
its way up between like going through the winter and the frost and the freezing, heaving and pushing, and yeah, it moved
it up.
everything around.
So maybe do something more solid like stone or something that is going to stay down at the bottom.
So, as you're cleaning up your containers for spring to plant, go through, break them up. It really depends on what you planted last year. There's some plants that they have such masses of roots that it's going to be really hard, or they might have tubers all over. If you planted potato vine, if you planted dahlias, there's going to be tubers that you really need to take those out and get rid of them. You're not going to reuse them.
The cannas, if you
Man.
did not clean it up the year before and you just let them go, I have some in the front.
Yeah, I had to take
I cleaned
a
up
shovel.
most of them, and that was a trough. That was a
I had to
huge trough.
stand up on the trough and with a shovel, and it was hard to actually with a metal shovel to dig through those canna lilies. The system that they have to get through and break up that soil. Another thing to think about, going back to filling this up, if you're worried about somebody stealing your flowers, if they're heavy, they're hard to steal. So sometimes I like filling it up because now if they're gonna come along and grab something like this, they got to bring a buddy. So
A couple buddies.
yeah. So something like that is heavy. So that also helps if you are maybe concerned about theft and somebody grabbing your flowers and running off.
Or like our big containers under our sign. They're
Oh,
placed there
yeah.
for a reason.
Yeah.
They're protecting our sign. So
Yeah.
when people back up, they hit the container first.
And those are, they're big. They're big. They're probably, 300 gallons. They're big
Very large.
and they're full of soil. So I have to move them with the skid steer, and that's by design. Yeah, like Amy said, they're there to protect the really expensive digital sign that we paid for. So anyway, so that's kind of answering that on the soil of reusing it. Can you reuse soil year to year? Yes, you can.
You do have to take out that root masses, and you should top dress it.
Yeah, give it a little fresh soil year to year.
I want to address real quick because we're talking about this size and how we're not going to add anything to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
That holds true for hanging baskets too. Some people will be like, oh, I have a 12-inch hanging basket and I'm going to put crushed cans at the bottom
Yeah, that's not enough.
to fill up some space. It needs all of that soil. It seems like a big container, but when you have great big beautiful baskets, they're going to use up all of that available soil. So
They're gonna be
don't
using,
add
moisture.
anything to the bottom of that. The stones aren't going to give it more drainage. It already has the drainage built into it with the drainage that should be there.
That's not something that I do, is add stones to the bottom. We just don't do that. You might on a house plant, that's okay. But on our outdoor containers, I just never do.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So again, with the soil, we have a whole playlist of videos on soil at our Sharkey's Greenhouses YouTube channel. And I know a lot of people are like, hey, what soil do you use? What is good quality soil? We've answered that question extensively on our YouTube channel. There's an entire playlist. It's better than a Netflix series, I promise you. So if you ask I'm just going to point you to the playlist. There's a lot of videos on soil, and there's a good reason there's a lot of videos on soil. It's important.
Very.
It's very important. Don't be walking into Wally World and grabbing that junk soil. Get a good quality soil. And if you say, what is a good quality soil? Go watch the videos. There's all that has been answered there, and what we use in our greenhouses.
And we do have it also on the beatyourneighbor.com website under the shop section.
There's some soils
speaking
there.
of that, we have a new retailer for the Beat Your Neighbor.
Yes, we do. So the Flower Patch in Effingham, Illinois is one of our new Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer retailers, and you can check them out, and they are carrying our fertilizer in store.
Fantastic.
And just explaining a little bit about, because we have literally tens and tens of thousands of brand new followers that are asking about our Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer. That is our fertilizer that we developed. That's what we use on 500,000 flowers in our own greenhouses. That's what we use exclusively, and that's why our flowers look like they do, because it is a good quality fertilizer, a actual greenhouse grower grade. And it's very concentrated, so you don't have to use a lot.
You did not intend on selling it.
No,
and so it is literally a little half a teaspoon is what you use per gallon.
Per gallon.
So that container that you're buying, it makes 100 gallons because you had no intentions of selling it.
Right, yeah. So why would I want to lug around semi-loads of fertilizer when you can have a concentrated version? So our 1 jar of Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer makes about 100 gallons of good quality fertilizer. So when people look at it, it looks like it's more expensive. The irony is it's not. It's actually cheaper per gallon than the junky stuff that you get at the big box retailers that is just mass marketed. That's not stuff that any of us as greenhouse growers use. Use a good quality fertilizer. That's what the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer is. It is a good quality greenhouse grade grower formula, and it's a general purpose, so you can use it on pretty much anything. You know, all your outdoor flowers. You can even use it on indoor plants and also your garden, your vegetables. It's great to grow a huge garden.
So if you're not near that area, you can find more retailers on the beatyourneighbor.com at the retailer locator map. And if you don't have anybody in your area, hello Texas.
Yeah,
or
come
Florida.
on, Texas. Yeah.
Then you can order it online at beatyourneighbor.com in 48 states. So if your state is not listed on there, New Jersey, California, and District of Columbia,
yeah, we can't ship
to you.
'Cause
But
of
otherwise,
fertilizer
all the
laws.
rest of you, we can ship to.
Yes, so check that out all at beatyourneighbor.com. All the relative information, everything that you're asking about questions, it's all there.
It's there.
Yep.
And if you're wanting to be a retailer, if you have a business, and you don't have to be a greenhouse, we have some that are not greenhouses, that are more boutiques or salons or auto places.
Yeah.
If you are wanting to be a retailer, reach out to us at the info@beatyourneighbor.com. We just need to get some of that tax information from you to be able to set up the account.
Yeah, so very good. So, off with our day.
Yes. And please hit the follow button.
Yeah,
Can
or
I
subscribe.
Just say that? Yes.
If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, hit the follow button.
We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah. So,
Have a
thanks for
great day.
watching. Bye-bye.